Hello, and thanks for stopping by the MAC weather page for this Tuesday, February 7th. And I guess the headline would be winter weather advisories are in effect mainly for the northern portions of the MAC area up into northern lower Michigan. For Gratiot, Montcalm County, I think it's pretty iffy that we're under this advisory. So we may have some freezing rain to deal with as it begins to precipitate. We may see some of the dew points allow that to cool the lower atmosphere enough. And then the surface of many of these dirt roads that are still quite cold. So again, I would think the rural dirt roads and infrequently traveled roads would be the ones that we would worry about today. Then I think we change over to rain, and then the cold front will come through, and that'll bring snow into the area. But again, we do not expect very little really accumulations here for the southern two-thirds of lower Michigan. Perhaps over the next 48 hours, maybe an inch or so. And again, you can see the 6 to 10 day outlook for temperatures. We're going to continue to be fairly mild right on through the next week to 10 days anyways, and we may see some cold air begin to filter in as we get towards the end of the 8 to 14 day outlook. If we look at the normals for the day, our normal high is 28, the normal low is 10. You can see 15 below zero back in 1936. A record high is 45. Not sure we'll get to that, but we could come into the low 40s depending on how far that front moves to the north. And you can see back about, what were we talking about, 9 years ago, we had 3/4 of an inch of rain on this day, which came out to 10 inches of snow. If we look at the highest and lowest temperatures across the U.S. yesterday, 88 degrees at Alice, Texas, and 11 below zero at Mount Washington, New Hampshire. And each day when I bring forecasts, I use a lot of different icons, and you can see this screen very cluttered here, and well, there's the theme song which would best describe my mess here that I have to choose from each day. And if we look at the next screen, you can see temperatures around the area. Yesterday were in the 40s. Look at Jasper, all the way up to 51 degrees for the highest temperature, down to 13 degrees above zero at Newaygo, so a pretty good contrast from the midnight temperatures into the late afternoon temperatures. So a pretty mild day out there. You can see we're now above normal for the month, which was expected. You can see the winter weather advisories across mid-Michigan off to the north. Temperatures this morning mainly in the low to mid-30s. So you can see any precipitation that begins in this area that's under the advisories right now is above freezing. But I would think we'd get a little bit of dynamic cooling, which would drop us down to near freezing or a little bit below freezing. But again, this is very, very marginal conditions for an advisory. I got to admit, I'm pretty surprised that there are advisories out. But again, the dirt roads could get quite icy. If we look at the satellite view this morning, you can see the system that's moving to the northeast. Notice the overall pattern of these systems now is moving kind of in a zonal from west to east. And again, that will keep any cold air bottled up in Canada for the time being until the system goes by. And if we look at the low-level wind fields, you can see with the low-pressure system getting ready to move into Wisconsin, you can see the southerly flow moving ahead of the front, and you can see our winds out of the northeast across especially central and northern Michigan, bringing that cold, low-level dry air into the northern portions of the state, and that's allowing for the chance for freezing rain to develop here as we go through the morning. If we look at the next map, you can see the radar indicates some of that precipitation now moving into the area. And again, as that cold, low-level dry air sweeps into mid-Michigan and to the north, that's where the areas of freezing rain could occur. But again, I think it's very marginal across the northern portions of the MAC area. And I think the best chance is going to be up here to the north. And this could be quite a mess up here in Rogers City, down to Alpena, back over to Great Grayling and Gaylord, maybe even down to Roscommon. If we look at the weather map this morning, you see the low pressure system coming out of eastern Iowa into Wisconsin. Again, it'll move to the east. And again, that precipitation out of the Gulf, moisture moving up over that front will create an area of freezing rain with some heavier snows well off into the north across the northern portions of the UP. And then a pretty big severe weather outbreak expected here with a slight risk area all the way up into the Ohio Valley. And then by Wednesday morning, that front will swap off to the east. Cold air will be filtering in. We'll have some leftover snow showers. Again, no big deal though. And as we get into the day on Thursday, again, maybe a chance of from lake effect snow showers or some upper level troughs moving through could bring a little bit of light snow. But again, we're not expecting much, if any, accumulation at all across the MAC area over the next 72 hours. As far as precipitation, again, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch across the northern areas, a little bit heavier to the south. And again, if you're down Jasper or Blissfield, maybe up towards Charlotte, and then over into the thumb area. Don't be surprised if you hear a rumble of thunder perhaps, again, especially across the far southeast part of the state here for this morning. And if we look at the snowfall here over the next 72 hours, you can see the lion's share of the snow is going to be across the northern portions of the UP, with some accumulations definitely across northwest lower Michigan as well. And then as we look ahead as far as freezing rain over the next 24 to 48 hours, you can see this area in yellow. This is going to be a very hazardous driving situation as you're up into northeast lower Michigan. So again, once you start getting north of mid-Michigan, be careful on the roadways here, especially for the morning and into the early afternoon and beyond for northern lower Michigan. As far as the next 8 days, you can see, again, most of the snowfall confined to the UP and into extreme northern lower Michigan. Down here, downstate, don't look for much in the way of snowfall at all here over the next week or so. And on the weather watch this morning, you can see the freezing rain advisories for much of Wisconsin, the winter weather advisories for snow in the UP, and then for freezing rain across north central lower Michigan, and then a big area of fog also across the southern Great Lakes back into the Corn Belt. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.